okay? And so you should see my slide of tips and picks for wasting less this holiday season. My name's Susan Schuler. I work with Recycling Connections. We're contracted with Marathon County Solid Waste Department to offer education and outreach services. We run the info line to help answer any questions people have on waste and recycling in Marathon County. I'm a true advisor. That means I've been trained in advising on zero waste services. It's a certification program, sort of like the LEED certification, but it's for zero waste principles. I also attended the Zero Waste Conference last week, which was really cool. That was the National Zero Waste Conference talking about leaders and initiatives happening around the country for zero waste events. And Recycling Connections turns 40 next year, so we're hoping to launch our near zero waste event services. So that's new and coming up. Hear more about that in the new year. As you're listening today to some tips and picks, I want you to think about one or two things by the end of the presentation you might be able to commit to doing and implementing in your lifestyle or maybe this holiday season. I'm hoping you're going to gain some great ideas from tonight's talk. So first of all, we need to kind of step back and look at the statistics of why we're really looking at kind of why would we reduce less during the holiday season when it's such a consumption time. But unfortunately, the habits that we've created really lead to a lot of waste. 25% more trash will go into the landfill between these 6 weeks or 5 weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's. And so there's a lot of ways that things we can do that this wouldn't happen. We can still celebrate. We can still have great gift giving without producing the trash during the holiday season. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. 5 billion tons of materials are returned. Just because something's returned does not mean that it actually can be resold. A lot of some of those items are actually not put in the returned and resold, so they're going to end up in the landfill. So something to keep in mind, even though we think we're doing always a great thing on that, it's not always the actual thing that happens. And when we don't know what people really want, or maybe people really don't even want the gifts anymore, let's honor that. 1 in 5 gifts are unwanted in the beginning, and so they end up landfilled this Christmas. So let's try to do some things, and I have some ideas for how we can do that. The other thing about wasting less is also thinking about our budget. This statistic always blows my mind, but it's well documented. Last year, an average American, not a household, an average American spent around $1,048 on Christmas shopping. It's expected to be about the same trend this year, a little lower with COVID, but still around that $1,000 mark. And this is how they break that down. 650 will go to gifts, families, coworkers, friends. Some of that 230 will be on extra food and decorations. And 117 will be other gift items for either yourself or for the family as well. So when we're looking at wasting less, we're also looking at trying to be more efficient with our spending. So we know we've got a budget of $650 on gifts. Let's get them good gifts that are going to be durable, that are going to last. So we'll talk about some of that, or give experiences or build memories. There's different ways we can look at that of gifting things. This is the Wasteberg. A lot of zero waste professionals talk about the Wasteberg. This is the whole embodied amount of waste that's produced by a single pound that's going into the landfill or being discarded. It is estimated that 70 pounds of waste is created upstream in just mining, manufacturing, packaging for every 1 pound of stuff that's discarded. This is a 1994 statistic from the World Watch Institute. I looked to try to find if there was an updated statistic on today's products. I found one out of Harvard University, but they didn't have a lot of backed up research on it, and they were saying 100 pounds of waste is created upstream. which blows my mind that we've gotten more inefficient with our advanced technologies than efficient for every pound of material that we discard. We're actually getting more inefficient. 100 pounds, they were saying, according to one stat I found on Harvard, but they didn't source their statistic. But still, let's go with 70 pounds. That's a lot of material for items that are single use or just going into the landfill really, really quickly. Keep that in mind, the Wasteberg and any product that you're purchasing for your holiday. I'm also gonna put in kind of a mind shift for you. Instead of looking at the best deal, what we're, saving a couple bucks for the best deal on an item, try to think and go into your gift giving with the highest and best use. Which item is going to be most durable? Which one is gonna last more than 6 months? The majority of Christmas gifts are in the landfill in 6 months. So how do I ensure that my gift giving doesn't end up with just filling landfills? So highest and best use of a product versus, am I getting a good deal? Because that's just a financial decision. And if Christmas is where we're giving a little bit more, willing to pay a little bit more, let's pay a little bit more on a durable item that'll last. So my top 8 zero waste gift ideas. I'm putting 0 in parentheses because there's really no such thing as a zero waste item. Everything has embodied energy, embodied impact, embodied transportation costs, mining costs, production costs, marketing costs. Everything does have some type of, I will say, waste in there. But here are my tips to reduce it as much as possible. And 0, and as much as anything, really, the gift or service is probably your best bet for everything. Some of my best gifts I've received, we live in a university town, we know some university students, and they've gifted us babysitting gift certificates. Now, we're not going out and about, we're not needing this service necessarily right now with COVID, but I will say this is one of the best things that somebody gave just me and my husband to be able to have some time to ourselves when when our kids were really young. That was awesome. Other gifts of service that you can think about is cleaning your car for you or cleaning your house. I know my nieces have done a house cleaning service for my parents, and that's really meant a lot to them. When they're in college, they didn't have a lot of extra spending money, but they could definitely go over to grandma's and clean her house, and that was a win-win for everyone. If you have a handyman service, if you are good with some just handyman coming over, can you offer that up? If you're good at gardening, can you consider, saying, I have an IOU, I'm gonna help you plant your garden this spring. And that's the gift of service I'm giving you. So a lot of different ideas that you can do just in giving of yourself. One thing we do in our family is gifts of outings and experiences. We like to do this with our children. This is pictures of our kids. We introduced skiing 2 years ago, and now the kids really just want to ski every year. So we're like, fine, it's one of your gifts, where the family goes to ski once or twice during the holiday season. The one with the horses was, we went up to Door County. Door County their condos are about 1/3 of the price during this time of year. And we had just kind of winter adventures in Door County, and we had a great time. It was so good that our 2-bedroom condo that was a kitchen, we were able to just make a few meals and stay an extra day because it was pretty affordable for us to do that. And there was more we wanted to see and adventure to. So think about giving the gift of experience and outings is a really fun way to spend that $1,000 that you're going to be spending per person over the holidays. If you do budget that way, if you're kind of the average. If you're even lower than that, think about that though. Start budgeting for those types of things and consider it as your gift. Decide to tell your family or friends at Christmas what the adventure is going to be. And there you go. You've got your surprise gift of what we're going to do. Handmade gifts are great. I'm a big fan of the baked goods during the holidays. I know a lot of people are not a fan because of the waistline, but I love baking the cookies. I love receiving cookies and different baked goods. I like making homemade meals. I can also, there's other craft projects that you can do. The picture of the blanket here is my New Year's resolution, so I hope my sister is not watching, because she is the one that I'm making this, and this took a lot of planning. Some homemade, handmade gifts do take time to plan, take some time. So do think early on how you want to do this. Mine was crocheting a blanket and giving it to, in this case, it's my sister. But there's a lot of different ideas you can do if you can plan ahead a little bit for some of these craft projects. But I love those. If you make any craft projects, go ahead, share those in the chat too, of some of the things you've done or ideas you have too. This is not just about my presentation for it by any means. We're here to share with others of great tips and tricks for others. The next one is tickets and gift certificates. So here's some places in the area you can consider. Really, we're talking about supporting local businesses. Tickets and gift certificates are a really good way to do that. So we are doing what we can to support these businesses that are struggling and are going to struggle and are in our community. There are community members, there are neighbors, and gift certificates and tickets are a great way to keep these things alive, keep the arts in our area, keep the recreation activities supported, especially during the time of COVID. Memberships and subscriptions. Some of these subscriptions could be to magazines, and it's not bad to do. I love magazines as well. So you can consider a subscription to a kids magazine or an outdoor life magazine or cooking magazine, something that your family member or friend might enjoy. All of those materials, magazines, are recyclable, so you can always do that. I also like giving memberships to local places. Again, I picked 4 different local organizations that have memberships, and you can consider gifting that to a family member for the year as well. So, or getting a gift card to the adventure park when it does open. My understanding is not currently open. Leoki Woods and Art Museum is not currently open, but they do have memberships. And when you show your membership support, it does help these local businesses. So please consider gifts for that. That also supports our people in our community while it gives great experiences for our loved ones. You can always give the gift of saving. So I used to give savings bonds. They're no longer really in existence. You can't do those anymore. But there's other ways to just, Grandma and Grandpa can drop in some extra money during this time, and they usually do. And they tell the kids they can't touch it. So that's just going into talking about your personal finance, what is saving, and it really is a great way of building those habits now for future generations, getting them into the understanding of saving during this time too. Upcycle gifts are really fun. Again, these sometimes take a little bit more creativity, but Pinterest is your friend, and you can get endless ideas on Pinterest. You can also go to the Habitat store. I love the Habitat store, although it is not open as well. And is it Mosinee or Schofield? I forget the exact town it is. But they have great ideas for upcycling your gifts. And here's some just few pictures as well. We have given a gift, a dress-up box with kids. We went to Goodwill and we got all these fun little dress-up toys during Halloween, and that became our dress-up box that we were able to gift. So we upcycled all of those things that were really fun for the kids to do. A friend of mine gave all Grandma's old jewelry to her kid for some dress-up materials. That was really a fun thing to do. So some things of passing those on or upcycling them can be really great, creative ways of reuse, upcycling, and giving something that's real special to your loved ones. And of course, there's always donations in your name. Probably the best gift my father has ever received was a goat we named Floyd, after my father, Floyd. We donated to a company that was like Heifer International. It was more of a local organization. in his town with a woman who had some connections in Kenya, and she was doing projects to give livestock to local Kenyans, and you could name it, and we got the story, we got pictures of Floyd the goat, and that was nice because not only did we present it to him at Christmas, and then he got updates throughout the year. I think for 2 or 3 years he had updates on the goat Floyd the goat. So that was really exciting, and that was a gift that was really meaningful for my father and really fun for us to give. And it went to an excellent organization that was doing some great work. Think about your family member or friend. What is a charity that's close, dear to their heart? And consider just giving them a donation. Give them a nice card saying, we donated in your honor, and that was your gift. And that's really can be quite touching as well, and real personal. So let's say, okay, those were all great ideas, but I still need to buy stuff. That's great. And I still have also gifts that I give, but these are some questions to ask yourself when you're going into buying those gifts. Is it available locally? I know Amazon is getting totally overwhelmed at this time, but there's a lot of stores that carry the same thing as Amazon that are right in your local community. Can you get it locally? Is it only a couple more dollars? That's okay, because your Christmas budget is quite big. And so giving an extra $5 for something, even though the item is a little more expensive at the local shop, sometimes it's not, but don't even look at it that way. Look at it as you're supporting your local community. You're supporting the local businesses. You can get curbside pickup. A lot of them have online stores. So check it out. Before you buy that board game, is it available at one of the local shops? You can consider that first. Always keep in mind, is it gonna last longer than 6 months? This is just a good mindset to go into when you Christmas shop. That just helps us, consider that. Again, using the zero waste principles, what's the highest and best use? Is this product the highest and best use? I'm going to use the rubber boot example. We have gone through a lot of rubber boots at my house because our kids are outside, but they get holes in them, especially just the kind of cheaper Fleet Farm rubber boots. We've passed them on through kids and they just get holes in them. We've kind of committed to buying a higher use, highest use, best use boot in that case. So in this picture, I have a muck boot. I'm starting to just commit on investing the higher price in that just for durability, even though my kids are going to grow out of it. I'm going to use Christmas time to buy that higher use thing because I already have a budget in mind already. I'm going to invest in that higher thing. And then when it's passed on from friends or family members to others, I know this boot is not going to end in the landfill for a long time. Where those rubber boots, I will say, some of them are really 6 months. They're not long lasting, and it's very frustrating to me. And I know I'm only feeding landfills with things like that. Take your Christmas budget, your holiday budget, think about your spending during this time, and consider, using that to invest a little bit more in a more durable item. And yeah, you might not be able to give as many gifts, but you're giving a higher quality gift. Again, packaging this time of year, if you are a family with lots of kids, it's the worst thing in the world to open all these games and stuff because the packaging can be completely insane. Do you consider that in your gift giving? If it comes with a lot of packaging, can you do without? Is there another alternative of an item that's similar that just does not have all of that packaging that often is landfill? It's not recyclable. Those plastic, really flexible plastic packaging, oftentimes that is the non-recyclable. And if you're not sure if it's recyclable, then you should just put it in the landfill in your trash cycle itself. If you're not sure, you can always contact us. We're happy to answer those questions or help you with that too. Then the final is, can it be recycled, reused, or composted after use? Where is it going to go at end of use? Is it a high durable item that when you're done using it, you think it's going to be in pretty good condition, it can be reused at a resale shop or something like that? Is there recyclability either in the packaging that it comes in or the item itself? What's going to be that next, what's the after use life look like? Some considerations for you to think about when you're purchasing. All right, last few slides here is wrapping it up. So a lot of great ideas for wrapping. I actually have holiday wrap. This is my holiday wrap that I originally purchased. This is what I'm phasing out. I'm on my last tubes and they're lasting forever because I just don't use them anymore. I've really switched on to sustainable used wrapping options. This wrapping paper, glossy, really easy to tear. The fibers are really, really not even, they're really short and they really are problematic. This is a landfill item. Wrapping paper, your traditional high glossy, high ink paper should be put in the trash when you're done. So if this is what you and your family and friends are using, try to circulate it out of your life is what I would ask, if possible. I've switched to paper like this. It's brown paper. I actually found it at the dollar store, believe it or not. The rolls are not really big or thick, but I use it year round. I have another one, it's not opened yet, but it's a brown paper. So do look for something like that. This is recyclable. This one will be able to be recycled as long as I don't put too much tape on it. Make sure those ribbons are off. But the paper itself can be put in the recycle bin. I also found just wrapping. This is packing paper. Again, it's a whole roll, huge brown roll. And now I decorate this throughout the year. This is my birthday gifts. This is my anniversary gift wrap. This is my Christmas wrap. And it's a huge roll. It's going to last forever. And so it's a fraction of the cost in the end anyway. And so that's what I've shifted for my wrapping, in addition to gift bags. Gift bags are great. If I didn't know this, but some people throw those out afterwards. I've never heard of that. I always thought you give gift bags and you always reuse them. And I was really surprised to think that people, if they weren't ripped or anything, like if they're still in good condition, that everybody or some people thought that should be just thrown away. I guess I just see use in a lot of things. And so definitely reuse those gift bags until they can't be reused anymore. And then they are recyclable. So you can put them in the recycling. Just please remember to remove the ribbon handle or whatever that handle is. Just remove that off. That's going to be problematic in the machinery and the sorting. But the paper itself made in that bag can be recyclable. If it has a lot of glitter, nope, that's a contaminant. So you know, you're going to have to use your judgment. It's not going to kill everything, but glitter, the more we use glitter, just try to avoid glitter. And that's really hard to say to like some kids that love glitter. And I'm sorry, parents that have kids that love glitter. But if there's something you can do to kind of reduce glitter in their life and anything, that is better. Grocery bags, they're free wrapping paper. So consider using grocery bags as, and this is the paper brown grocery bags. Those can be wrapped up, put a nice ribbon around the thing. You could even decorate it if you'd like. A friend of mine for Christmas one year gave fabric wrap. So she actually sewed nice different size bags and gave us ribbons and gave us little ties, little homemade gift tags that she made. And that was our gift for the holidays. And that was really nice. I had those for many, many years, but I think I passed them on. So I don't actually have one to show you itself. And so the last idea is wrapping a gift with a gift. So a friend of mine was giving a bottle of wine and they wrapped it in a tea towel with a little ribbon around top. And I thought that was really nice when they went, they were just going to kind of a dinner party and wrapped that wine bottle in another gift. So you got a tea towel and that nice wine bottle with it. Thought that was pretty clever. Again, you might not go to a lot of dinner parties this year, but in the future, a good way to present a bottle of wine or a gift like that to family or friends. Holiday lights, I can't move on without saying anything about this. If you are not using LED lights by now for your holidays, please consider using them. They consume 85% less than an incandescent bulbs. They don't put out a lot of heat. The bad thing is they don't put a lot of heat out, so your bushes, if you can tell people that have incandescent lights and those who have LEDs, because it doesn't necessarily melt the snow when we get a lot of snow, so it kind of gives this foggy, snowy bush versus melting that snow down and seeing the lights. But it's pretty neat to see still, different way of lighting that snow-covered bush. And they last a long time. If you're done with any of your lights, holiday lights, whether they're LED or incandescent, there are many locations around Marathon County. You can take those. They will be recycled for free. I have listed these right here. So Wausau City Hall, Mosinee City Hall, Pick and Save in Wausau, Weston and Rothschild, Rothschild, Piggly Wiggly and Mosinee, People's State Bank, all locations, Intercity State Bank, Weston and Wausau, and Nyberg's Furniture. This is compliments to Habitat for taking care of the collection of all of these holiday lights in the community and getting them properly disposed of, recycled, and not put in the recycling. Do not put your anything that's stringy, long cord in your recycle bin. These are called tanglers, and they really cause a lot of problems in our sorting machines. Do not put that in your recycle curbside bin. They need to be taken to one of these locations, and now is a great time to go through those lights. My final 5 tips: buy local whenever possible. Maybe even committing to 50% of your buying this year will be through a local community business or organization. Focus on that highest and best use versus that best deal. Really think about the durability, the long-term impact of that. The best way to do this is avoiding those novelty items that are really tempting. They're clever items. They might just be a pair of slippers, but they look really funny and cool. You get tempted to buy them, give them to somebody who already has a bunch of slippers. So now they're making a decision, throwing out, landfilling, or sending it to a resale shop, an extra pair of slippers that weren't even needed in the first place. Really think about that. It's tough because they're funny, they're clever, and we want to create in the moment like fun, but in 6 months, is that gonna be, think about that later. Packaging does matter. Anytime you can buy a gift that's either similar or not, and the difference is the packaging, go with the one that's less packaging. This even means if you cannot get tempted by ordering it from Amazon, that's going to come with transportation and an extra box, an extra, plastic wrap inside. Can you get it locally? That's already gotten shipped to your community. Consider that. That's going to break down a lot or cut down a lot on that packaging. So do think about that. And wish lists. I haven't really talked too much about wish lists, but asking people what they want. I know we want to create this element of surprise. So, we do want to do that, but it's ending in a lot of waste in our community by doing that. So take out the guess game. Don't just say, what do you want? Like for my kids, they're 9 and they're 7. And if I tell the kids, I'm like, can you give me an idea of what you want? You need to give me 5 items. And because if I just ask one, I know what my son's going to say, and it's going to be something I'm not getting him. And it's some video game set and console that I really don't even know what it even means. And I'm not getting it for him. So if I have him dead set on him giving me one thing on his wish, and it's not even a list, he's only set up for disappointment on Christmas Day. So if he gives me 5 items, give me a list of items. So it's not just all dependent on one item that kid is going into, and they're only going to be disappointed if they didn't get that one thing. Make sure they're giving you a couple different ideas. Ask your husband and your wife, give me a couple ideas of what you want. then you're ensured that you're going to get something that they sort of desire, they'll use. There's going to be less waste going in. And you can still create some type of surprise, you know, by making sure they don't just sell one thing and they get the one thing that they ask for. So a wish lists are important. Here's some additional resources. We have a resource holiday guide on our website. I love the Colorado, the state of Colorado, University state, I forget which one it is, but they have a really nice zero waste holiday guide on there. So I added that link. And when I was talking about charities, it's sometimes hard to find a charity and a vetted charity. So Consumer Reports put out a nice chart that they have online. I gave you that link in this presentation to go there. It's the best charities for your donations. So something to consider there that's vetted. So if somebody's like, oh, I want to give to an organization that really helps children's diabetes, and you don't really know what to do, you can go to this list and they can give you some vetted organizations, and then that gift can go to someone you can trust. So now you've heard a little bit of my tips and ideas. I'd love if we could just in the chat box, or I'm gonna stop this or I'll stop sharing my screens, and we can have a conversation about some of your commitments, just kind of based on some of the ideas tonight that you might be willing to consider this holiday season. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Don't forget to visit our website at www.marathoncountysolidwaste.org for more information on recycling and proper disposal and tips for using less. Have a great holiday season.